Maxie, when you look at that first 7 minutes of the ball game, they're getting down 15. What was the biggest indicator of what happened there in that first 7 minutes that kind of got you guys out of rhythm and the Suns getting that 15-point lead there?
Like I said, we didn't come out with the right energy. Maybe as a team we were a little bit nervous, but I think this things that we can fix because we showed that we can do it. We came back, made the game close. For us, very important the next game though is come out with the right mindset. We know what to expect now, and we have to do a better job resisting, especially like in the first couple of minutes.
Welcome to the Mavs Report right here on 105.3 The Fan here on YouTube. I am your Mavs insider, Kevin Gray, right here on 105.3 The Fan here on YouTube. You can find me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Kevin Gray Sports. Make sure you subscribe to 105.3 The Fan here on YouTube. Follow us all over social media on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and, of course, right here on YouTube. Your Dallas Mavericks are in action in game number 2 as they take on the Phoenix Suns in the Western Conference semifinals. The Dallas Mavericks losing game 1, 121-114. Got out-rebounded by 15 on the glass. Got out-rebounded by 6 on the offensive glass. They allowed DeAndre Ayton, unfortunately, to dominate in the first 3 quarters, going 12 of 16 from the field. He finished 12 of 20 with 25 points in game number 1. Meanwhile, for the 7th consecutive game, the Phoenix Suns shot over 50% from the field in the playoffs. How did the Mavericks find a way to stop Devin Booker, Chris Paul, Cam Johnson, Mikal Bridges, and a whole host of others for the Phoenix Suns? It's going to be a tall order for the Mavericks, but what they can't do is get out and get down 22-7 in the first 7 minutes of the game like they did in game 1. The Phoenix Suns blitzed them with their defensive intensity, getting out on transition, and the Mavericks were not able to recover after getting down by 15 before they could blink. Maxi Kleber told me after the game that, hey, we may have came out a little bit nervous in game number 1. This is a team, when you look at their roster, hardly any of these guys have ever been this deep into the playoffs, let alone faced a defending Western Conference champion on a mission to get back to the NBA Finals where they blew a 2-0 lead last year to the eventual champion, Milwaukee Bucks. That is who the Phoenix Suns are. They are a team on a mission, a team that won 64 games during the regular season and are looking to prove a point after having a little bit of a struggle in the previous series against the Pelicans. Now, mind you, that Devin Booker missed 3 of those games but was able to come back in the clinching game in Game 6. Devin Booker in this game with 7 of 20 from the field. But when you look at what he did in the second half, the Mavericks held the Phoenix Suns to just 52 points after giving up 69 in the first half. They held Devin Booker to just 2 of 11 from the field in the second half as well. As I mentioned, DeAndre Ayton was 0 of 4 in the fourth quarter. And more importantly, the Dallas Mavericks went small. That small ball lineup, that 5-out lineup that they like to use with Dorian Finney-Smith at the 5, was actually a plus 12 in the final 10-plus minutes of game number 1. Jason Kidd, who you'll hear from in just a second, may not have a choice when it comes to how the Mavericks play in terms of that small lineup. In fact, here's Jason Kidd when asked whether or not the benefits of a small ball lineup and what they are and why the Mavericks may not have any choice but to do it. Here's what Coach Kidd had to say.
Are there elements, though, of going small that you think can be beneficial for you all going forward?
Yeah, we're going to go small. We have no choice. So that's just the way we play.
So Jason Kidd saying, look, that's the way we play. We have to play small. We have no choice. But you've got to, if you're the Mavericks and going to go down that small 5 lineup, you've got to rebound the basketball. You've got to find a way to collectively make sure that you're not allowing the Phoenix Suns to have multiple possessions in terms of what they do offensively. As I mentioned, they had 13 offensive rebounds. It's inexcusable given the fact that this team is so good offensively. We know how devastating the Phoenix Suns are in the mid-range, shooting over 61% on long mid-range twos. That's what Devin Booker and Chris Paul are capable of doing. I know Chris Paul made a bunch of junk in game number 1 to bail out possessions for the Phoenix Suns, but they've got guys that could come off the bench in waves and be able to provide a scoring punch. Cam Johnson was really good in game 1. He had 17 points off the bench. Even Cam Payne got into the act. He shot 50% from the field. things really turn in the Suns' favor when a guy like Jay Crowder, who was really shooting the ball well, especially in the first half. The Mavericks have got to get more, not just defensively out of this unit, but more importantly on offense. Spencer Dinwiddie and Jalen Brunson cannot go a combined, when you look at their numbers, 9 of 24 for 21 points. That simply cannot happen in Game 2 or beyond in this series for the Mavericks to have a legitimate shot of winning. Here's the thing about the Mavericks and what they have to do in this series. Everyone, and I mean everyone, has to play above their expectations, because when you're dealing with a team as deep and as talented as the Suns, everyone has to perform at least to the expectation of what they're capable of as a player, and then maybe a little bit beyond that to give yourself a team that has a chance to beat the Phoenix Suns, who have superior talent on their end of the floor. On both sides, especially when we look at the defensive intensity from a Mikal Bridges, who made one of the best plays I've ever seen, running from one end of the floor to the other to block a Reggie Bullock attempted three-pointer. The Mavericks got a crash course in the intensity level needed to win in the playoffs as you get deeper into the playoffs. The Phoenix Suns have been there, done that. They've won 10 straight against the Dallas Mavericks. They are extremely confident in their ability to let Luka Doncic just go and get his. Doncic had 45 points, 12 rebounds, and 8 assists in Game 1. He cannot be asked to put forth that Herculean effort night after night after night in this series to give the Mavericks an idea that that's going to be sustainable, because the Suns can sit back and say, hey, look, you go get yours, Luka. We'll stay home on everybody else. We'll make things difficult for Dinwiddie, for Brunson, for everyone else on this team, and we'll just let you go get yours because we don't think the other guys on this team can help you win. That's where the Mavericks come in with Jalen Brunson and Spencer Dinwiddie, who have to be in attack mode when they have their opportunities to. Spencer Dinwiddie can't be passive when he has his opportunities, especially with the second unit. Jalen Brunson has to ensure that he's attacking and being an aggressor early on. I thought the Mavericks were shell-shocked in the first 7 minutes of the game. They should not be that way in game number 2, and they should give themselves an opportunity to feel much better about the way they performed in the second half and being able to carry that over into game number 2, because they have to have the intensity and the defensive communication, the rotation and focus that they had in the second half. They have to bring that for the entirety of game number 2. Otherwise, the same thing could happen for the Mavericks in game 2 that happened in game 1. The biggest issue that the Mavericks face in this series, they have no answer for DeAndre Ayton. DeAndre Ayton can get what he wants, when he wants, however he wants it. The Mavericks have to bring a level of physicality, team rebounding to this game, and beyond in this series to make things difficult for DeAndre Ayton. Dwight Powell's undersized at the center spot. Bertans, Kleba, they're undersized there. No, you're not going to see Boban really in this series because, unfortunately, the lack of quickness that he has doesn't allow him to be played on the floor. Even with JaVale McGee, and you saw what he did in game number 1. The Suns come at you in ways, but the Mavericks have the opportunity to win this game if they do this. Knock down open three-pointers, be much better in terms of their communication and their rotations defensively, and not have the breakdowns that they had to allow shooters to be wide open, whether it be Cam Payne, Cam Johnson, Jay Crowder, and others aside from Chris Paul and Devin Booker. And then you've got to be able to close the rebounding margin and limit the Phoenix Suns to one-and-done possessions. You cannot allow this team to have multiple possessions offensively by not getting and securing defensive rebounds. If you don't, if you're the Mavericks, you're going to be in a world of hurt. And more importantly, on the offensive end, maybe see if you could put Luka Doncic possibly in the post to let him work on Chris Paul, where he was hunting matchups with him, especially when the Phoenix Suns decided to switch, because they're going to do a lot of that because they believe in their ability to switch and to have multiple guys be able to guard and bother Dinwiddie, Brunson, and try to do something with Luka Doncic. But maybe put Doncic on the post a little bit, maybe work out of there to see what happens. But the Mavericks have to find a way, by hook or by crook, to win game number 2 to get this thing back to Dallas tied at 1-1 when they play game 3 on Friday. If they can, they reintroduce themselves into this series as an opportunity to have it be a long, drawn-out series. Otherwise, going down 0-2 to the Phoenix Suns could spell real trouble for this team, even coming back to Dallas. But Those are the things that the Mavericks have to do in Game 2 to get a win and find a way to get a split in Phoenix before they head back to Dallas for Games 3 and 4. This has been the Mavs Report right here on 105 Through the Fan here on YouTube. Again, my name is Kevin Gray. You can find me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Kevin Gray Sports. Be sure to subscribe to 105 Through the Fan here on YouTube, and you'll catch all of our videos, all of our clips, and everything that we got for 105 Through the Fan right here on our YouTube channel. This has been the Mavs Report right here on 105 Through the Fan. I'll talk to you later. Peace.